Welcome Cancer to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 19th of August for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. Your sign is ruled by the Moon, so you have a very vivid connection to the Moon's passage. So as we start this week and the Moon goes face to face with the Sun, the energy of that is something you're going to feel keenly. And part of the reason for this is the Moon is in House 8. House 8 is very evocative, it's very deep, it can be very psychological, but it also can be to do with very pragmatic strands to do with long-term finances or shared finances. But opposite the Moon in the detached air sign of Aquarius is the Sun, of course, but also Mercury in its retrograde. Mercury retrograde in your second house is about your values, self-worth, but also everyday money. Now, it's possible that the ins and outs of your finances may need to just be changed a little bit to get things to balance up exactly as you wish. But what's been making things difficult is that Uranus, the planet of surprises and disruption, has been lighting up a part of your chart which is very exciting and potentially very interactive in terms of your social world, but with it may have come some costs. The great news about this full moon, however, is that you could discover over the next 2 weeks a fresh and innovative way to use your resources which works really well for you. I just wouldn't be in too much of a rush to do the transaction this week itself. The reason for that is Mars, the planet of action but also of impatience, is in a tight alliance with Jupiter, the planet of higher knowledge. But they're in your 12th house. That's a very spiritual part of your chart. And your spiritual energies could have been heightened by them coming together last Wednesday. But Mars in the 12th house, and it's going to be there through to the 4th of September when it marches into your sign, does have a tendency to rake up old, very deeply buried psychological debris. But they're being squared off by the planet of limitation, Saturn, in the part of your scope to do with information. So that could be information that someone shares with you in a contract or a document. It could be an offer. It could be to do with something you read online. And the way you want to work forwards at the moment, because Mars is very much about an earnest energy, may seem somewhat inhibited by the information you learn this week. What's going to happen once Mars moves into your sign on the 4th of September is that you will find that you're powered up and come into the moment in a very compelling way. But this week, because Mars and Jupiter are squaring up Venus in a part of your chart to do with everyday communications, there's part of you that could be a little bit more impulsive about what you say or agree to, but Saturn almost immediately can hold you to account. What I can tell you is that by Thursday, the Sun moves forwards out of Leo and into the sign of Virgo, where Venus is, but Venus moves forwards and escapes the exact gaze of the restricting and cold vibe of Saturn. So even if exchanges at the start of this week can be quite intense, they could be about money, or they could be about who's most invested or who's prepared in some ways to change, because the 8th house can be about those deep changes. So there could be a bit of an impasse at the start of this week, but the conversation and the communication can really start to improve by Thursday. When the Sun moves into Virgo, things will start to ease up and things will start to move forwards. But you could still find yourself having to talk about resources for the long term. Now that's maybe a property matter, could be something like a savings plan or pensions or an inheritance, because of Pluto, the planet of consequences, in a tense angle to the Sun on Thursday. So it's not going to be an entirely clear passage, but by the end of the week I feel there will be a lot more air, and you can use the precision of Virgo to analyse your situation and get a little bit more understanding of the intensity, the sheer intensity of one of the most complex weeks I can remember for a very long time. Have a lovely week, And if you'd like to take advantage of my very special year 2025 personal forecast offer, you can get the rest of this year free, and also for 30% off your life roadmap report. Please see the link beneath this video. All this is based on your personal birth data. No two charts are exactly the same. It's great value and will give you searing insights to guide your moves future forwards.